Hello and welcome. We already started here because basically I started. That doesn't do anything. Wait, he made a 1-drop. Wow, on the play, and he gets a 1/1 flyer. Lucky. Um, so already started recording, and then someone said something on Facebook. I opened it up, and actually someone said uh, a login and a password. So. Maybe that's not something I should upload to YouTube, right? Even if it's just a small frame of a second, they'll still see it, of course. You can pause things like that, so obviously I'm gonna... I hoped it was the other one where you have more bits, but it's still a 2-2. Which I can use next turn, by the way, and I will use next turn. He shouldn't make a 3-drop here either. I'm surprised he made a 1-drop. I think it's really bad for him. I mean, he got a 1/1 flyer, yeah, lucky, but normally he gets total garbage, right? Okay, that's normal. Let's just attack here. If he trades, obviously we activate this because we're gonna make it 2-drop anyway. And it seems he's willing to take the trades, even though this can become a 3/3. Fine. It's entire player lose 2 life. Okay. You may pay him. Okay. Maybe he thinks now that I am an idiot for doing that, but I actually would have done that anyway because I like making 2-drops over 3-drops at this stage. And I get a 2/2 lifelinker, so yeah. His 1-drop is totally negated already because of the Kalastra, because of the Highborn. How is it pronounced? Kalastra Highborn? Doesn't matter. And he gets another 2/2 if creature, sacrifice a creature. Yeah, pretty shitty. So just a 2/2 for 4. Obviously we'll attack if he wants to take the trade. We're willing to take the trade. We have a 2/2 lifelinker. He still keeps getting in with his 1/1 flyer. But I mean that doesn't really matter, does it? So obviously we attack because our 4-drop could be Bloodlust. No, don't be slow. I'm gonna make sure, which I'll do right now, that I delete that recording, which is really hello. Yep, it's this one, I think. Sorry for that, but just have to be sure, right, that I don't accidentally upload it or something. I'm not one willing to upload someone else's password or something. So we'll make a 4-drop here. He obviously took the trade. We'll discard the planes. And we get a 3/3 flyer. So yeah, his 1/1 finally is useless. Discards all cards with the spell's converted mana cost. Wow, so if you add a 0, he discards all lands. Broken. But anyway, 4 mana 3/3 flyer. Obviously the nuts. If he discards here now, he gets 2. He stops at 7, right? Because yeah, he stops at 7. Other arguments, but okay, pretty useless. Just a 2/4. But basically, if it ever deals damage to a creature I control, it still does the same amount of damage to me. It doesn't have a reach for some odd reason. So we have a 2/4 that can gain flying and does 2 damage. That's pretty fine. If this was a 4/4, it would have been way better. Just as a 2/4, it's pretty trash. I mean, it can eventually kill a lot with it for a cheap amount of cost. I mean, 1 mana 2 damage to any kind of creature. So we attack with this, I just pay 3 and this dies, stuff like that. You can attack with this, but Wow. He doesn't attack with this, even though it would do 2 damage no matter what. Which I find odd. Obviously it's his choice, I don't mind. We'll make a 6, not a 7. And we actually get a nuts card. Get a 6/6, which trumps everything else. And the build is really great, even though I just discard an island, of course. But let's say I choose white, and this gets bounced. But it bounces itself, right? Yeah, that's not really that great. So we do have the advantage, so we might just sit back on this. Prevent all damage by creatures with first strike. So he double blocks and then this dies, I guess. But we still can keep on attacking with this. We can attack with both and then is attacking or blocking and only once each turn. If I pick green, I can only pick green or red basically. He can take 6. Only once each turn, so that's actually not that great, is it? So we're just gonna attack with an Infernal Kirin, seeing that he can block with one of these, but then yeah, it's not that great for him. So we'll see. I have been running good lately. I think the 6 tickets that I bought are currently 16 tickets, minus the 2 obviously from this. We'll see. It's 14 tickets. So I can attack. Obviously, I just attack with this. I don't want to trade yet, and this just holds on the fort. I will discard the island again. Yeah, he does block there. So yeah, fine trade for me. I still have a 6/6 flying now. So I find it odd that he did that. Whenever you reveal your card, just a vigilance reach 6/7. Yeah, still good. 6/7 with reach, obviously a pretty good card. And yeah, as I said before, he made the error of making a 1 and a 3 drop for some odd reason, which I find really weird. So being of your upkeep sacrifice, so that's pretty trash. I think we attack with both of these, but then this just trade, so we just attack with a 6/6 flyer. He jumps. Yep. And then he's on a 2-turn clock and he has to find an out. Obviously this is gonna die. What's the actual build? Each untapped creature you control. Oh yeah, it's pretty trash. If this had Fiddlers I could attack with it, but it doesn't. Wow, that's good. Because if I attack here, yeah, this dies. So basically, I have to attack here. He can choose not to block, of course, but he can choose to block. Yeah, I'm dead. I mean, it is an 11/11, but he gets a 6/6 token every turn. Should have attacked first, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I could have attacked, he couldn't have blocked, or he could have blocked, but I mean, that's an error on his part. So then he goes down to 6 and he gets a 6/6 dragon each turn. And if he doesn't block and I had an island, I could have bounced, so obviously the attack on his part is the not blocking and then attacking would win in the game anyway, and then afterwards I would get Denizen, I guess. So it wouldn't have mattered the way I played it. Yeah, what do I want? I want the Leviathan, or Hoverguard Sweepers, of course. Hoverguard Sweepers still isn't a winner, but it's one of the only outs I got here, and I get a pretty shitty one. So yeah, we lose this one, even though he made the error of making 1 and a 3 drop. Doesn't get punished, and we lose. So off to the second game, which I hope will be better. It should be. It doesn't really matter, does it? Obviously we don't want a mulligan. He's choosing if he wants a mulligan or not. And I actually don't use F6 a lot. I probably should use it more in the early turns, but uh, understand the function, I understand that it's a pretty good use, but it allows you to make mistakes, and if you make it a habit to using the F keys, you're more likely to make a mistake, so I'm not a big fan of it. I do understand this something like draft or so, or even Momir, that's like, yeah, just F6, but what's the upside of using it? You save time, which is mostly better in constructed, but in constructed you usually don't want to use F6. So yeah, F2 is the same as pressing OK, so I understand using that, but I just don't want to. And he gets a 3/3, reveal the top card is land card, put it into your graveyard. He dies. I'll tell you that, he dies. So yeah, I mean the counter side crusher becomes enormous, but he decks himself. That's actually his sick card. But yeah, he's gonna deck himself, so no, it can resolve. Yeah. I think the yeah, always yields. See, he decks himself. Wow, a 3 mana cost card that loses you the game. That's the very first time we saw that, right? It was pretty fun. Obviously, it was fun for me because he lost because of it, but it was a 53/53 creature on turn 4. I mean, it was pretty good. And again, he makes a 1-drop. And this time he gets a shitty creature, like he should have gotten last time, right? I mean, last time he got a... I mean, okay, let's look at what you're trying to achieve by making a 1-drop. First of all, you're putting pressure on your opponent. Fine. But what's the biggest creature you're gonna get at 1? 2/2? So maybe, and then your opponent makes it a 2-drop, which usually trades with your 1-drop. So you got in 2 damage most. You can get a mana acceleration, but the odds of that are way lower than a 2-drop, right? So that's no good either. Basically, see, we can trade this already with any kind of 1-drop. There are some flyers, like you saw the Druid's Familiar, but usually not that great either. So obviously we attack here, see if he blocks, he shoots. So not that great either, because the odds of having a mana acceleration on 2 is actually higher. So making a 2-drop over or 1-drop is just better. And the same here, I make it... What does this do? Oh, he can't cast a Force of Will. I was like, huh? What's a pop-up? But we got Meddling Mage. Yeah, he can cast. And you can't actually, there's no card that allows you to deactivate after the Momir. So that's no issue either. And he gets a 2/2. Yeah, pretty shitty card. He gets a 2/2 for 4. Let's see if he wants to trade this. I'm fine with that. I mean, minion creatures, what are the odds of getting a minion, right? Yeah, he does block. So actually, despite him being first, I have the advantage of having a creature on the board. I will keep on discarding. That's pretty interesting. We have had this before in previous ones, and I think the best odds of playing this was, yeah, it doesn't matter, he makes me discard. He makes me discard. So basically, I attack, make a 5. He can make me discard if he wants to. Let's say he makes me discard these, so then next turn I make him discard 3, and I have more creatures on board than him. So, and if he doesn't, I can make a 6-drop or still force him to discard cards. He's just wasting mana at this point, where I am advancing my board. Obviously, if he gets a pretty good creature, that's fine by him, but he can make a 4-drop here, which usually doesn't trump these, and then I can make him discard the rest of his hand, and we're in the same situation. So yeah, he does get a 3/3, but that doesn't really matter, does it? So because I have a 3/3 flyer, I do have the board advantage, and we're actually in the same situation. So this turned out better for me because he played it wrong. He had to think it out, and he just saw this and instantly went for it. You basically skip your turn, but you both skip your turn, of course. So let's see if he trades here. He does. Obviously the effect there doesn't really matter anymore for me. And he actually makes his land trap, which I found out I'll just keep on making 6s and keep up the pressure. 7 more cards in your graveyard, Cinder gets +2/+2. Oh, nice. So yeah, I'm just applying pressure. He has to find an out, which is random, of course, so I'm forcing him to make 7 drops now. Which obviously are better than my 6 drops most of the time. But he has to get lucky there, right? I mean, even the 5/5 isn't better than my 5/6. Even though it has first strike, of course, and flying, so it is a really good 7 for him. And we get a 4/3 that deals 2 damage to target creature. So yeah, he either blocks or he doesn't. That's up to him. If this did damage to a player, that would be insane. But let's say his creature now isn't that great. Tap all non-white creatures, so my this becomes tapped, yeah, fine. So it's just a 3/4. He has to start blocking, right? We get 4/7 vigilance, so we'll just attack with this again. He can jump here. I see what he's trying to do. So yeah, the angel first, then the ivory giant. The angel dies. The ivory giant lives, but we have lethal on board. In flyers that is, so he needs to hit a flyer. Or whatever that's good for him. On top up to 7 lands. Doesn't do anything. I mean, he can't activate Momir again because it's basically only one time. Yeah, he has writing on the wall. So I think he misplayed with the discarder. That's basically it. I thought it out, figured out how it would turn out if he did something, and I got board advantage because of that. And being on the back foot while the rest of the factory is purely randomized is really hard to deal with. So yeah, another win, and I'll see you for the next one.